Hey, I'm Christopher Russell, and I'm hanging out here with Elias on the Man Cave. Check out A Lot Like Christmas on GAC Family this holiday season.
Chris, welcome to the cave.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Pretty fun times coming out at you. Just had a Christmas movie that just got released a few days ago. Day of the Dead. You got another role coming out of Reacher. You've been busy.
Yeah, I've been doing what I can in these times.
Yeah. So when I was doing some research, I wanted to how did you decide this is what you wanted to get into?
Oh wow. I mean, I've kind of always go back to this story, and because it's true. Um, in my preschool, when I guess I was 3 or 4 years old, they were doing a nativity scene at Christmas time. It was like a little play,
Hmm.
so you have the your baby Jesus and your wise men and Mary and Joseph, and then all the other little townsfolk, and then the animals. And I was a donkey at at the birth of Christ. Not in reality. I wasn't a donkey at the birth of Christ. That's I'm talking about the nativity scene. It was yeah. So anyway, so I remember coming out with my little homemade ears and tail and getting a nice reaction from the audience of parents with my donkey vocals. And from there, I don't know, I just always remember growing up, I was always in school plays when I could be. I was in theater camp, and like I just loved movies like Willow and Legend, the one with Tom Cruise that he himself has said is his least favorite movie he's ever made. It's actually my favorite movie he's ever made. And just yeah, Indiana Jones and Star Wars and all these things. And I was just like, man, I want to be a part of that. I want to be able to do that. And I just kept doing small town theater, and I got an agent in the city when I was a little bit older, and one thing led to another, and 18 years later I'm
Wow.
making a
Yeah.
living at it.
Yeah. So you were born in Toronto. Are you still based out of there, or
Toronto, Vancouver now, yeah.
okay? So
Sometimes LA, but I don't actually have a home there or anything.
yeah. So growing up in Canada, how did you most I've had other actors and come on the show and they always talk about playing hockey and everything. Did you grow up playing hockey? Did you think about even trying to get into that?
Yeah, so my parents are from England,
Okay.
and they emigrated here when they were like 20. And then they had me pretty quick after that, and they still were firmly rooted in their Britishness. So it was all soccer, football, as
Soccer.
they call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did ask to play hockey, and my dad was having none of it. So I would just like it would just be like pickup games. Like I learned to skate and everything, but I never got into it like a lot of kids my age. But by the time my brother came around, he was in a league for a good portion of his life. He doesn't now. He just runs a restaurant now, but well,
Wow.
not just. It's an accomplishment. But yeah, he
That's
gave up
awesome.
on the hockey.
So you mentioned Toronto and Vancouver. Do you love how the business has boomed in Canada with TV and movies between Toronto and Vancouver?
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, I guess. I mean, Canadians for the most part in the cities anyway. You can confuse us with the Americans, and it's a perfect place to go and shoot film and television, because our cities too resemble basically anywhere in America. You can double it for anything, and we're so close. And our we get tax breaks up here, and it's a pretty good incentive. But yeah, it's really busy. There's a lot of studios going up. Netflix is building a studio in British Columbia.
Oh wow.
Yeah, there's already a whole bunch of studios out here. I guess we have X-Files to thank for that. Yeah, when that show came out here, everyone sort of followed suit. And Toronto too, they've got like Star Trek Discovery shooting in Toronto, massive studios there. Yeah, there's a lot going on.
You read all the articles and everything, and one of the big jokes is Vancouver not even a place to live anymore? Is it just a big movie lot, TV lot, and then that's it?
You
Like,
know what? I
do the
will
people
say,
move out?
I will say, living in Toronto, I rarely bumped into anyone I knew. Um, and I rarely saw a film set anywhere, even though it's equally as busy as Vancouver. It's just, there's
Yeah.
something about the way it's set up here that every day I will see a set, whether I'm a part of it or not. I will see
Mm.
a movie set or a television set somewhere. I will run into another actor or another producer or director or someone somewhere in my everyday life. Like, it is just full of people in the business for sure.
Now, prior to before like COVID started, everything when you were going out for auditions, everything, were you doing a lot like in-face auditions in Toronto or flying to Vancouver?
No, it depends where I was based out of. So, for instance, I was living in Toronto when I got the role for Dirk Gently, but the way I did that was I sent a self-tape, and then um, they responded well to it, and we set up. This was before Zoom was the new thing,
Right.
so we set up a Skype meeting. So I did a Skype audition. That's usually how it works. But like for screen tests and stuff, yeah, you fly out for sure. I've flown out quite a few times for screen tests.
And now it's funny now because now we have, you have like your Zoom audition, or you could do a self tape, or you go in person. What do you enjoy the most? What do you feel more comfortable with?
It depends on the project. I mean, to start, I think to kind of just get my bearings, I like to just send a self tape of my own making.
Yeah.
And if they respond well to it, then I would like to meet them and get their take on it too, and then see if we can work together and come up with something that we all agree on. But I do find, and I will say this, and a lot of actors probably agree with me, that going in the room for a first round of auditions when they're just trying to figure out what it is they want, and just getting one shot at it and then leaving, it doesn't really feel that good. But like, you go in, you literally have one take at it, and then that's that. I'd rather have an opportunity to do, like, 3 or 4 different versions, see which feels best, and then send that out.
What goes through your mind before you go into like a live audition when you're sitting in that room and you're looking around and you can see other people are going for the same role as you? Like, what goes through you? How do you like prep for this?
Oh man. Well, when I was younger, it would be I'd be sitting there looking around like, oh man, I don't know why I'm here. They're gonna get it. Oh look, oh my goodness. Oh, Chris Hemsworth just walked in. What am I doing? I gotta go. Things like that. But as I've gotten older, and I just realized that, someone's got to get it. So why not me? So if I'm showing up and I've done my homework and I'm ready to go, then it's really just going to boil down to, so many things that are out of your control. It could be like height, look, uh, the way your voice sounds compared to someone else they've already cast, like weird little things that like nuances you have no control over. But if you can go in and just give it the best authentic performance that you can, then. But yeah, sitting there before, when when you walk in a room and there's like 6 to 10 different guys that look pretty much the exact same as you, it's like, oh man, what is this business? What am I doing?
What's the most you've had in one day doing like a live audition when you're going from one place to
Oh,
another where
mm, probably four. Probably
yeah.
four would be
And
the
how does
most in one day.
so how, is that like mentally like exhausting for you? Like how does that go through your process?
Yeah, you'd think it would be, but there's something about having mm, too much to do that can actually make, somehow my brain starts operating at a much more functional
Hmm.
um, uh, calibration, where I'm able to just compartmentalize everything and just go for it. I mean, yeah, I've booked jobs on a day where I've had like a whole bunch of auditions in the same day. Uh, but also, it depends, right? Like, if one of the auditions is 18 pages and then you've got like a 5 and a 10 and a 6 page, you're just going to be reading off the page and hoping for the best. Like, that's a lot of memorization to put your brain through in short notice, right? But if you have the time, if you've got time to prepare, then it usually works out.
Especially like when like you're 4 different roles, 4 different characters, you want to try to prep
Yeah,
for each one the way you want to play them.
Yeah, it's kind of fun though. It's kind of fun,
Yeah.
and it's this big relief too once you walk out of that room and you're done. It's the build up, right? Because it's like that's like getting ready to for a race. You're waiting for them to, you know, pull the trigger on the starter pistol, and you're just like, yeah. And then once you go, it's just like everything kind of just evaporates around you. But until you get in that room and just get going, until you get the first line out, it's always like, I don't know. It's like we're just bouncing to get in the ring.
Yeah. You ever walked out of there and like, I don't know, half hour later, you're like, oh man, I should have done it this way, or like you ever like
Oh,
think
all the
about,
time.
because some people don't think about that. Like I've had other
Yeah.
guests where they're just like, I don't know, I don't want to think about it. I did my whatever I had to do and I left and I went to the next
Yeah.
thing.
If you can put me in touch with them so I can so I can ask them how they do that, that would be great. But are you, are you kidding? Like that's why I like self tapes, because then I sort of be the puppet master in what version is seen, right? But if it's a live audition, and like first of all, I'm not watching myself, so how do I even really know how it went, right? I have my own perception of what's going on just based through my lens, but their lens is of everything. I'm just seeing what's in front of me. So it's always it's always so skewed. And then like yeah, half hour later, my memory is like trying to replay what happened and keep it going and be like, no, oh, you should have, oh, you should have. But then like our memories, like anything, is it's like it's not entirely accurate anyway. And I'm aware of that. So I'm able to move past it. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't think about what I could have done better every single time I walk away from it.
So yeah, let's talk about a little bit about Day of the Dead. How like exciting has been this for you with like the, pretty much in a zombie world, another zombie show. It's
Yeah.
up there at sci-fi. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, that role was a dream come true for me. I mean, uh, Trey Bowman had so many different layers to work with, and he's also the comic relief on the show a bit. And just working with such fantastic writers and the special effects, like those zombies, they look pretty good. And
Oh,
just to be around it, like it was just a lot of fun. That's pretty much all I can say about it. As an actor, it was very satisfying to be able to say the words that they had written down for me in that script, or those scripts, pardon me, because they're so clever and witty. And but not like the character wasn't witty, but their writing was. um it was just a real pleasure.
did you go in for Trey originally, or was it anybody else?
No, it was Trey from the
Yeah.
start. And I this will sound very conceited, but I don't care. I remember sending the tape and thinking if I don't hear anything about this, something is wrong with these guys at this show. That I just felt so strongly about the characters. It rarely happens where you feel like it was written for you, but I'm Trey Bowman. I was born Trey
So,
Bowman.
so when you
I'm
get that
sure
call,
there's plenty of other actors who could do
right?
a great job with it, if not better, but that's how I felt in the moment.
So when you got the call that you got the role, like, so how did that make you feel then with the after going through that phase that you just said?
Well, yeah, and also they did this. They put me on hold,
Okay.
like keep these dates clear, but without an official booking for a good 2 months.
Oh
So
wow.
I didn't get the official booking for like 2 months. It's like, what's going on? Who else is in the mix here? What's happening?
So
Who
you,
do I have to go talk to about this?
so when you put yourself on hold, that means you can't even like accept another role during that time to.
You can,
Okay.
but you let them know, and then you're out of the running, right? And you go,
Right.
listen, I've got this offer for this other job that's going to conflict. What's going on? And then that'll either push them to
Make a
seal the
decision.
deal or
Okay.
let you go. And if they let you go, then they weren't really that interested to begin with. They're just keeping their options open.
So when you booked the role, like, so how did you go after about preparing to play this character?
Oh, it was a while ago, but I got sent a couple scenes and a little breakdown of who he was, and I just sort of went in there with this idea that um, everything Trey says he believes. is true. And if you've seen the show and you see and hear the stuff that comes out of Trey's mouth, it's ridiculous. It makes no sense. But I found it for myself. I was like, to be truthful but also comedic at the same time, I need to operate on a level of truth and belief in everything I'm saying and doing. And it's almost like this movie came out way after, but like the way, actually, no, I'll use Will Ferrell and Elf. Trey's not like Will Ferrell and Elf on the surface, but the way that Will Ferrell, like the things he would say and do in that movie, and he just believed it, and he was so like almost innocent and naive. That's Trey. And also I looked at it like, this guy can't say no. That's his problem. He just can't say no to anything, and that's why he keeps getting in all these problems. So that's sort of how I went with it with Trey.
Like did you go back to like watch like any other like type of movies or like shows that is similar to like with zombies, just to get an idea also like how to interact with them or fight against them?
Yeah, no, so I went back and watched the original Day of the Dead, but then I also watched Shaun of the Dead.
All right.
And I watched Zombieland. Like I'd already seen all these, but I just to prep, I just kind of got in the zone with that type of thing. And then I actually watched a couple episodes of The Office. Just because I was like, you know what, that's kind of what I want to just mash it all together and see what happens.
That's awesome. So what was like your favorite experience filming this?
I think there's a lot of like exciting experiences, but the most fun I think I had, most satisfying part was when I am revealing to my son that I had an affair with his mother's and my wife's assistant. It's just so funny the way it's written and how upset and devastated my character is about the situation, but revealing it to my son and revealing a little too much information to him. That would have probably been my funnest scene to play. But then also there's also another point in it where I smash a zombie to death. Or do I? But I smash a zombie with a big shovel, and that was a lot of fun doing that with the blood splatter coming up and everything like that. It was good.
Any bloopers out there that we're gonna see someday?
I don't know. I don't have any.
You gotta ask her though, right?
Yeah.
So I mentioned earlier a couple of days ago, you also had a Christmas movie come out a lot like Christmas. Is that going to be on repeatedly now through Christmas?
Yeah, it's got a lot of dates. I don't know them offhand, but
right.
they will be showing that quite a few times before December 25th. I'm sure. I already know that there's at least 15 dates on Super Channel Heart and Home, which is the Canadian version. I'm not sure what's happening with GAC family, but I know that they play their movies often.
How different of a role is this? Like doing like a one of those home-hearted Christmas movies.
Oh my goodness, yeah, zombies to Christmas. It's someone mentioned the other day I should do a zombie Christmas movie. I was like, hey, you know what? There's something about making not just a Christmas movie per se, but anything within this sort of family-friendly, wholesome genre, which is quite a departure from sci-fi for sure. As a person, they're such a pleasure to work on. I just feel good every day leaving that kind of set, because as an actor, there's certain roles that you take on, and depending how dark you have to go with it, like some of that kind of sticks with you and you can feel like you're in a bit of a funk while you're shooting it. Like I definitely felt that way before on other shows, but yeah, making a Christmas movie, like especially on this one, so a lot like Christmas, the whole cast and crew were just so wonderful to work with. Everyone was happy to be there, everyone was doing their absolute best, and it just looked magnificent when we go to set. And it just, I don't know, if you like Christmas like I do, then you're gonna like this movie, and I definitely enjoyed working on it.
And this is something you can watch with your family too, so it's not like
everyone,
zombies and everything.
Definitely don't watch Day of the Dead with your kids. Um, definitely don't. But a lot like Christmas, yeah, for sure. Whole family.
And now, when is Reacher coming out?
So I believe it's February 4th, 2022 on Amazon Prime.
So what can you tell us about that? Or can you say
So
anything about that so far?
yeah, I can say a bit. It's about Jack Reacher. If anyone's familiar with the novels by Lee Child, it's based on his first book, The Killing Floor.
Mm.
And yeah, so it's your first introduction to the character of Jack Reacher, in sync with how the books came out. There were the movies that came out with Tom Cruise. They cherry picked the books they liked the best and based the movie on that. But this is actually starting at the beginning, and Alan Richardson plays Jack Reacher. And if you're familiar with the books, he looks just like it's described, just like Jack Reacher is described. And I don't really know what else I can say about it, except it's going to be thrilling, action-packed, and pretty exciting. And I play Joe Reacher, Jack's brother.
Are we going to see you in any action scenes?
I can't say.
All right. So, any other? What else is next for you now? Just taking some time off until these shows get rolling.
I've got another movie, Love is Trending, coming out January 8th on the Hallmark Channel. And other than that, I think there's like 4 other things kind of in post-production right now. So I'll keep you posted on that. But what I can confirm, Love is Trending January 8th and Reacher February 4th, 2022.
Chris, how can the listeners and the viewers find you on social media?
Chris Russell Official on Instagram.
Chris, this was great. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.